Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I just thought I would pop in and do a new kind of video. I've seen other people do it, but I've never done it personally myself. So it's called a mid-month check-in. And so mid-month is usually in the middle of paycheck 2 for us. And I thought I'd just show you how I kind of check in with my budget, and even though paycheck 2 is not completed yet, and see and make sure I'm on the right track for my budget. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing and hitting that like button. And if you are one of my subscribers, welcome back. I'm excited to see you here and can't wait to get started. So here we go. We're going to check in and do our mid-month check-in and kind of see where the numbers are and make sure that our budget is flowing with what our bank account says. So what I have over here is some notes, and I'm trying to decide on what kind of piece of paper. I think I'm just going to use my little to-do notepad here that I've been using for a while. I like the lines on it. I don't really follow what it says, but that's okay. And it's front and back, so I really like this. And if you're curious about where this came from, this is from Amazon. It's Talia. It's just a product that I found and I kind of like, so and it's already punched for the disc system. So, and also my paycheck budget sheets are in my budget shop on Etsy, so it's Lisa's Faith Budget Plan, and you can find me there and purchase and download and print these for yourself. So I hope you will consider doing that. And so let's jump right in. So what I do know right now, when I looked at my bank account, I have currently $4,923.75. That is what I have in my bank account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you guys in real quick so you can see me writing a little bit clearer and using my budget sheet to explain where I'm at and making sure I'm on target for my budget. So hold one moment. As far as the balance forward and the salary, that stayed the same. Nothing changed there. I mean, my husband did get overpaid in his paycheck. We have heard from his company and they say they'll just take it all out in the next paycheck, so don't spend it. That's what we've been doing. So that's the number there. You're going to see this number again in just a minute. So coming down here where the bills are coming out, and my bills are in this section right here. Yep, this section. From Instant Ink to iTunes. That is what my bills are. You can see the actuals I've written in are the actual withdrawals by the company from the bank. I saw those transactions happen. What I have not seen yet, because it's not time and they're scheduled to come out, is the life insurance, Audible, and iTunes. Those are the things that have not come out. So because they have not come out, they are not reflected in this number. All these others are reflected in the balance in my checking account. So this is my checking account. I'm going to CK right here, checking account. And then I'm just going to subtract all these numbers. So 87.56 is one that has not come out. And then 14.95, that's my Audible, and then iTunes, $2.99. Those are the bills that have not come out. Now, the next part of this is a little bit not tricky, but you have to kind of think it through. So in order to get an accurate account of what's in my checking account reflected from my budget is to look at these numbers. Now, this is what I budgeted for 2 whole weeks, because my paycheck 2 began, I'm trying to think of the dates they began on. I know, okay. So it began on the 8th to the 21st. So it's 2 full weeks of budgeting for my spending categories. Now this is where I pay for my groceries when I run to the grocery store, pay for restaurants when we go out to eat or drive through and delivery, miscellaneous stuff, mostly Amazon and Etsy. That's where we spend our miscellaneous stuff, and gasoline. These numbers are too high because I've already spent some grocery money. I've already spent some restaurant. I've spent in every category except for gasoline, and I'll probably spend in that in the next day or 2. So what I have to do is look at my transaction logs. So I do sell transaction logs in my sheet, as well as paycheck to paycheck, monthly budgeting, all the budgeting types. This is my paycheck 3 setup. I haven't started yet, obviously, but these are transaction logs. So what you would take out of these transaction logs is what you spent so far out of the budget. Now this number is lower because in my transaction logs, I actually began doing just the weekly part so I can see how close I'm coming and borrowing from the next week. But in my EveryDollar app, which I'm getting ready to grab my iPad here, I track paycheck to paycheck budgeting, and I just did a video on it here recently. Let me get this pulled up. And with the EveryDollar app, I'm trying to remember where I keep that. Actually, I just go to the website when I do it. So I'm logging into everydollar.com. I'm gonna sign in from the website because I like the format of that better than the app. And I'm going to go to this email and log in. And here we are. A little advertisement, that was last night. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this sideways because I like the view this way. So in my app, I actually set up my budgeting app to be a paycheck to paycheck budget. Oops. And I showed that in my last EveryDollar video. So this time around, you can see these are the numbers I have planned for the 2 weeks, but this is what I have left. Now my transaction logs don't show that, so I really didn't need to show you guys this, but this is how I track it for the paycheck to paycheck as well as the weekly check-in. Let me go back to paycheck 2. So what I need to know is what is left in the budget after I have spent in these categories in order to balance out what my checking account actually is reflecting. And the way I do that is with my EveryDollar app. And here we go. So here's the EveryDollar app. Try to angle it so my light doesn't reflect on it too much. And so what you're going to see here is I have left in my spending budget for a grocery household for paycheck 2 is the $146.78. So I'm going to write that down. This is what I have left to spend. $146.78. Then in my restaurant category, I have $190.93. So that's what I have left there. And then in gas, let's see, miscellaneous, I have $130.17. $130.17. And then gasoline, I have $159.79. And I'll just show you that right here. $159.79. And I just haven't used it yet. So I want to make sure I take out my spending categories out of the balance of this checking account number, because that gives me a true reflection of how much I have left over in my checking account, because I want to make sure I still have the money to spend in those spending categories. And if you take it out, then you're reserving that money to spend. This is how you keep your freedom of spending and not overspend, is by knowing the numbers and knowing how much you have in there. Now I'm going to add one more thing. Here at the bottom, you're going to see these two numbers. Now this has already come out. This was I didn't budget for it. It's an unbudgeted item. This is where I typically put them, so I can subtract it out of the actual numbers. But this one here, overpayment of paycheck, which matches this number at the top here, I just did not want to include that when I did the numbers. So this is a placeholder. This is not typical, this is not normal, but this is how I am keeping myself from spending it, is by making it visible right in front of me to deduct this when I go to balance my actual numbers, even if it's mid-month, to see what my true numbers actually state. So when I come back at the end of paycheck 2, what you're going to see me do when I close out paycheck 2 is I'm going to erase this number. I'm going to put a 0 here, and then that is going to boost whatever the numbers are by that amount. And I'm going to have down here that amount rolling over into the next paycheck period. And that way I don't spend it, and it actually goes to the next paycheck, because I know this is the number they're going to subtract from what's coming into our paycheck. So yeah, it's crazy. It's not normal, but it is what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and write this number real quick. I'm going to subtract that out because I don't want that reflected. I want to make sure it rolls over into the next month. So I'm going to definitely take that out. And then we're going to sit here and calculate how much, and hopefully I've done this right. And we will calculate how much I actually have in my checking available in the buffer. And that's basically what is the actual true balance of my checking account minus all this stuff, so that I know that stuff will be spent and this is what's left going forward into the next, well, not going forward, but actually just at the end of paycheck 2 is what we're looking at. Again, I don't want to spend this. That's why it's being subtracted out, but it will balance forward when I make the adjustments later. So we have $4,923.75, and then I'm going to subtract out $87.56. Then I'm going to subtract $14.95 and $2.99, $146.78. We want to subtract that out because that's what we have left in the budget to spend for grocery household, and I want to make sure I have that money available for the next week. Same thing with miscellaneous, $190.93. Not miscellaneous, restaurants, then miscellaneous, $130.17, and then gasoline, $0.79, and then I want to take out what shouldn't be there in the first place and not supposed to be paid to us until next week, but we got it early, there. So here is the actual number, $3,553.09. This is what is in my checking account currently, available after all this is taken out, because just because you have a high balance in your checking account, if you have outstanding bills that are getting ready to clear, you need to subtract those outstanding bills out. Same thing with your spending categories. You need to subtract out what's left of the budget that you've created for yourself to spend in your grocery household, your restaurants, your miscellaneous, your gasoline, or whatever category you call it. You want to make sure you deduct that out. And then in our case, just this one time, I hope, the overpayment by my husband's company for paycheck is going to actually be reflected and rolled over into next paycheck period, but I need to take it out here because I don't want to spend it. And so if my husband went in and said, okay, I'm going to do a Jeep lift, which is the project he's working on and why we have so much in our checking account. He's been saving for this. This is something he's wanted for a very long time, so we are planning on it, and that money is still sitting in our checking account. So this gives me a true reflection of what's in the checking account, and when he goes to take the Jeep in to do it, I don't know if he's going to get it done this month. He might get it done next month. We'll have to wait and see. He hasn't called them yet. So there's a lot of logistics going on, and his job is actually asking him to travel on business again, so he may be gone for a little bit, but that's okay. So that's what we have right here. That is my mid-month check-in, and this balances. And I am happy to see that this check-in is definitely on track. It's showing me the real numbers that we still have money in these categories here and for spending, and we should be good until the next paycheck period. So yeah, I'm happy with the results. I think it turned out fine. And yeah, checking in every month or mid-month is a good way. If you don't like checking in every week, you can check in mid-month on your budget. So I'm going to zoom you guys back out. And that's that. So that's my mid-month check-in, and I hope this helped you in some way, or you learned something from it, or maybe it sparked an idea of what you can do for your budget, especially if you're trying to do budgets in different styles and you're trying to learn your budgeting style. If weekly's too often, then maybe a mid-month check-in is good. Paycheck to paycheck is always perfect because you're dealing with actual numbers and actual income that actually came in and what you have in your budget. At a minimum, I would recommend paycheck to paycheck. Monthly budget is great, but that, for me, the only good thing about a monthly budget, and I'll show you my monthly budget really quick here, is seeing the numbers and making sure you're not going to be over budget before the end of the month. So I actually put that down here like this, and this is my monthly budget. I take my total income that I'm projected for the month, and then all my total expenses for the month, and I put them in here. And that's where I get the numbers, whether I'm going to be over or under for the entire month. And if it looks like it's going to be over, then I kind of go, okay, where am I overspending money? Why am I over? It's kind of like that warning sign of, hey, pay attention. There's a lot going on here and you need to see your budget a little differently. But if it's under, then you're pretty much safe to go ahead and start your budget and do your paycheck to paycheck. That's the reason I do a monthly budget. But checking in only monthly really does not help you fine-tune your spending. How much you're actually spending, especially if you don't go back in the budget and write down or track either in Excel or in your EveryDollar app or anything like that, the amounts that you're actually spending. If you're just saying, I want to spend $600 in groceries, then that's great, but did you actually do it? That's why tracking is so important, especially for the first few months. After a while, it's not such a big deal. I do it frequently because we spend all over the place. Many months we'll be on track and we'll stay within budget. And many months when we don't pay attention, we just blow that budget all the time. I'm like, why are we running out of money? So for us, and especially for me, tracking it one transaction at a time actually helps me keep on track. So anyways, that is what I do. This is what I've got. All these are my budget sheets that you see here. I sell all of these in my Etsy store, so if you're interested in those, there's a link in the description box below. I have all kinds of tracking. You don't have to do all the tracking that I do. You just find the style that you like the best, and I like to video all of them because I enjoy doing all of them and sharing them and talking about them with you. That's why I do so many. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. So have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.